Hi, so my topic that I wanted to discuss in my podcast was about how nowadays people are switching from cable and just going with the subscription channels. So some of these channels that are really popular are like Netflix, Hulu, there's Showtimes, there's Stars, there's all these different subscriptions that people can pay for monthly and they get the certain shows that subscription has on there. So Netflix has shows from different channels that have been on the air before, but then they also have been more into producing their own shows and their own movies. So Netflix is probably the most popular one that people have heard of and that people tend to subscribe to, especially a lot of families, a lot of college students, because it is a lot more convenient. People can watch shows on their laptops, they can watch shows on their phone. So it's a lot more mobile as compared to having to sit down and watch cable or even just regular TV channels such as the news. Those have to come on a certain hour. And so since people's schedules have become a lot more busier and the media has really adapted towards being mobile and fitting into everyone's schedule. So with these types of channels, you're able to stream the show whenever you want, as opposed to having to wait at 8 o'clock, say in the evening, for your show to come on. So the media has really adapted to this type of lifestyle, and the type of shows that people have, especially, or different channels that the shows have, such as like HBO is another example too. It has a more specific target audience. So as we talked about before, typically audiences were really broad, such as whenever the news and other shows were being broadcasted, it's going to be towards a large audience. Whereas different shows such as like Game of Thrones is going to have a really specific audience that the directors are really aiming towards. So it's people who are into like the action sci-fi movies who are going to be tuning into that show, as opposed to just a news show or a sitcom where it's more generalized to the public. So I think that's definitely a benefit, that these different channels are going to have lots of different shows that target lots of smaller audiences. So you're going to have almost a bigger audience because there's going to be smaller amounts of people going towards one show, as opposed to just having to find a show that has one general audience. So I think that's really important. And with media, there's also tools that have been making this more popular for you to have different subscriptions. One example of this would be Roku. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of it. I know my family has cut cable and we only use Roku. So on Roku, you are able to access all the different subscriptions that you have, as well as also have a few basic channels such as the news, weather, sports, and some shows that still air on TV. So the type of things that Roku has is they also have like Netflix and has access to Amazon Prime. There's shows on there as well. You also have access to like Spotify and YouTube, where people are also have shows on YouTube as well. So all these different channels and subscriptions have their own shows and movies now. It's becoming a lot more popular for that. So Roku, you just pay for that by month, and you're just paying for the box as well, and then you're able to have access to set up the accounts on all the other Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, all of those things. So you have it all in one area at once, and you're also able to access those accounts as well on your laptop and on your phone, as well as on the Roku. So I think it's really interesting how the transition is going to be from cable to these types of channels. I know Disney is starting their own channel too, so I'm interested to see how that will turn out, and if they're going to produce new TV shows or just show the reruns of Disney movies and Disney Channel shows. So thanks for listening.